The story of Adam and Chava needs a lot of yes.
It needs a lot of redemption.
Because it's incredibly difficult story. First of all, how is it possible? If the Eibishter said to you, don't eat from that tree, you would eat from it an hour later?
I don't know, because the Eibishter never spoke to me, so I wouldn't know why I was asking.
Ich stelle sich vor that you would wait at least till after Shabbos. At least. An hour later. When the Eibishter spoke at Har Sinai, everybody died from pachad. And here the Eibishter speaks to him personally, and an hour later, doesn't make any sense. It can't be possible. Can't. Even if he had a Yetzer Hara, but he didn't. So without a Yetzer Hara, he sins an hour after being told not to. I'm sorry, this cannot be possible.
It was not an hour like we figure an hour now.
Yeah.
Think of it, he did nothing. For him, an hour was like one long...
How do you know he did nothing? He did not
It was a busy day that day.
It was the first Shabbos, so there's no fish.
The second question is, what did Eibishter say? Don't eat from the tree.
All the trees you can have,
Right.
this tree you can.
Right. Ki biyom acholcha mimenu, mois tamus. So first of all, what kind of threat is that? Adam was 6 hours old?
I'm sorry, I don't understand ignorant. What was the threat? I don't understand what you said in Hebrew. Any touch?
You'll die.
If you eat from the tree, you'll die. So, that was a threat? He was afraid to die? He didn't want to die? he hadn't even gotten used to living. The third problem is, when the Eibishter asks him, you ate from the tree? He says, she made me do it. Oh, come on. So fast?
Another hour later, he owns lying.
Azay nidrik? No, it's not...
Frightening, Hashem comes to you, he had to save his life.
On top of the fact that he did an Aveda, he's also not a mensch. Can't take responsibility for what you did. It's not, the whole story is not believable. Then on top of it, the Eibishter says, because you did this, you're going to have to work hard, you're going to have pain in childbirth. That was not the deal. The deal was you'll die. Now he's adding more, betarnished. Ein einshen el imke mazhirin. You can't give a punishment that you didn't warn. The main kasha is, what's the point? What's the point of telling me this story? At the beginning of the Torah. I want to learn Torah, I want to be good, I want to serve the Eibishter, and I open up the Chumash, and the first story is, you don't have a chance. If he couldn't... Exactly right. Exactly right. What are you telling me? That if a person in Gan Eden who has no Yetzer Hara and is given one Aveda to avoid, and he can't avoid it for more than an hour, and you have a Yetzer Hara and you have bad friends and bad influences, and the Golus is going on already for 3,000 years, you don't even know the Taich and the Pasuk. And so good luck. You have 365 Avedas that you can do. Huh? It was. No, not in him. So listen to the story. There are so many ways to understand. Adam and Chava were about to be born. Not born. They were about to be created. And the Eibishter said to them, I want you to go down to the lowest world and fix it. It's a job. It's a shlichus. They opened their eyes. They're 20 years old. Right? They were created 20 years old. And the Eibishter says to them, from all the trees you can eat, but this tree, don't eat from it. The day you eat from it, you'll die. They had two problems. Problem number one, what's our job? We were sent here to do a job, to fix the world. How do we fix it? All the trees are kosher, you can eat from it. Doesn't need to fix. The one tree that needs to be fixed, we're not allowed to eat from it. What are we supposed to do here? What happened to our job? The second problem they had was, what kind of a mixed message? Don't eat from the tree. The day you eat from it, so one second, don't eat or do eat? It doesn't say if you eat from it. It says the day, b'yom acholcha mimenu meistamos.
That means Hashem knew he's going to eat.
It almost sounds like eat it and die. Or don't eat it and live. So Adam was completely confused. So Chava said, it's not a mixed message. The Eibishter is giving us a choice. You have two options. Don't eat from the tree and live forever, or eat from it and die. Death was not a threat to them. You have to put yourself in, we're thinking in our terms. Oh, you're going to die? To them, dying meant nothing. They just came from Shemayim. They'll go back to Shemayim. They don't care.
So there was choice A or choice
There were no
B.
people dying yet, they didn't.
Right, so it's choice A or choice B. So Adam said, what kind of choice is that? Of course, let's not eat and live forever. So Chava said, he wants us to eat from it. So Adam said, how do you know that? So she said, if you listen, if you pay attention, you would understand. If we eat from the tree, we're going to die. We're going to go out of Gan Eden. Where are we going to go? To a lower world. That's where we belong in the lower world. That's where our job is.
Right.
Here in Gan Eden, we have no job.
So these are the messages that she interpreted.
So he realized she was right.
But then they're gonna die, how are they gonna go to the lower world?
Go into the world where you die.
This world go into the lower world.
So now, so Adam said, but wait a minute. If the Eibishter wanted us in that world, why did he put us in this world? So Chava said, that's how the Eibishter gives you free choice. He doesn't put you in the situation, then ask you. He puts you by the shvel. He puts you by the threshold. Now the final step, willst du gehen, willst nicht gehen nicht. You have to volunteer. He said, you make a lot of sense. And they ate. Now the Eibishter comes to Adam and says, you ate from the tree I told you not to eat from? How did you know? How did you know that that's the right thing?
Give credit.
What are the wording? What's the word
Yeah.
that,
Hamin
how do
ha'etz.
you understand
It's the same
that
words.
statement from the word here? From the wording that's used?
Yeah, it's exactly the same words. It just depends how you sing it.
Let me hear. So what are the words?
Hamin ha'etz. Asher amarti l'chol lo seichal mimenu achalta.
It depends how you say it.
How do you know that from this that I told you?
Yeah, and it depends on what you think of the Eibishter. We have this impression that any time the Eibishter speaks, he's angry. Or demanding. We're in trouble. That's it. The Eibishter is talking, oh no, now what?
So repeat this again. Again. So the first way I know, or what was the second way to think?
Hmm?
You ate from the tree I told you not to. Why?
How did you know?
But why?
How did you know what I wanted?
How did you know this is really
How do you know
what I
that you
wanted?
should eat the
Yeah.
tree?
So
Sure.
that's
that's
how you know that this is the top.
Yeah.
This is why I created you. So he was a gentleman,
So
and
he-
that his wife told him.
Perfect, beautiful story.
In fact,
He gave her
But
credit.
then why
Why
does she
did
get
they
this
get
all
the
these
in
things?
fact, the Medrash
How is that
says,
correct? Okay, she says all the curses are in the brachas.
the Medrash says that Adam said, Ha'isha asher nasate madi. She told me. So I trusted her because you said Leitov hiyesa Adam levade. You told me I wouldn't be good alone. So I understood. I have to listen to her because by myself I would have decided not to eat it. So the Eibishter says, that's fantastic. Oh, then he asks Chava. Then he asks Chava, how did you know? She said, the snake. Not the snake tricked me. That's so pathetic. The snake described the world outside of Gan Eden, and it sounded, because the snake didn't lie. There's nothing the snake said that wasn't true.
He added.
He didn't add.
He said,
Not-
don't touch the tree.
That's not in the pasuk.
What did the snake say?
The snake said, if you eat from the tree, you'll become like the Eibishter, you will know right and wrong, good and bad.
And that's not true over here.
Hmm?
And in this world, we're like the Abishter, we know it's.
Why?
Yeah, we're miniature.
What do you mean? I don't know.
So before they left Gan Eden, before they left Gan Eden, they were very holy, but like a malach, not like a human being. When they left Gan Eden, they entered into the real world of the human being, and a human being is higher than a malach. So then,
Didn't Hashem create them right away in the lower world?
so then the Eibishter says, in the lower world that you're going to, there's going to be pain, there's going to be hard work, not more punishment. There's no punishment. It's just a description of the world outside of Gan Eden. Some people say, so why was the snake punished? He wasn't punished. A snake in Gan Eden can talk and has legs. A snake outside of Gan Eden doesn't talk and doesn't have legs. It's a lower world.
The snake eats from
I'm thinking we should get all the nursery teachers and all the kindergarten
No.
teachers to ask and tell them like, and
We were
all the
told-
teachers
I
around the
know.
earth and tell them everything and all
It's
that.
also, it's not wrong.
From this, and then
It's also right. It's also right the other way. It's not wrong.
But it's
Not
much nicer
wrong.
to do it this way, so it's
Okay.
more positive.
But the snake.
Wait, let's finish.
Yeah, that we don't want to be like the snake. It's-
Let's finish the story. Why is it called Chet Eitz Hadas? Every place in Torah is Chet Eitz Hadas, Chet Eitz Hadas. We're still suffering from Chet Eitz Hadas. Chet means a step down. Literally in Hebrew, Chet means off target, missed. Right? It was a terrible step down. It was a huge step down. But it's exactly what the Eibishter wanted.
It's a purpose.
The neshama coming down into this world is a huge step down. Huh?
According to other teachings,
Yes.
it was plan B and not plan A.
Yes. And that's not so good.
Right.
Because you say to our average bacher, have mesiras nefesh, do the mitzvahs, don't give up the taivas, and he says, why? This world is messed up already. Adam messed it up. So what's the famir? And it's a good argument. If this is a messed up world, what's the famir? It's not a messed up world. It's exactly the world that the Eibishter wanted. So instead of blaming Chava, we should credit her. The whole plan that the Eibishter had would have failed without her.
How do you answer the
Who says this?
It's messed up anyway. When my
Chassidus.
daughter, we had to add a name to my daughter because they whatever, and they chose my husband spoke to my uncle, it chose Chava. She was a tzedakah, and I remember till whatever it is that it didn't sit right with me that she was a tzedakah.
Fakert. She's the.
So I decided, I figured, I must not know.
She know about her.
Hashem gave us the whole.
Right, but she could be she was a tzedakah, but she failed so miserably. So I'm just saying that I
What do you
and
tell that
I went,
picture?
I said, look, I don't
Maybe I should have
understand,
a plan A.
and she must be tzedakah, so whatever, you know.
Yes, how do you answer that, Bacher?
The Medrash says the only woman who came close to being as great as Chava was Sarah.
Why? Why, sir?
Now you tell me after my group.
I had a comment.
No, I had to also add a name.
Just pick one.
The Medrash says there were three beautiful women. Chava, Sarah, Esther. But Sarah, compared to Chava, looked like a monkey.
Oh my.
What does that mean?
That's a beautiful.
Yeah. And now we're talking about Ruchni. Ruchni is the Kabiri. So now, it's called a chet because it's a step down, not because it's a violation of the Eibishter's
So
will.
when we do an Aveira, we also
No,
have
no.
to
Miss, you just said
No.
it's a miss.
No, it's a step down,
So when we do a chet, it's also a
Oh,
step down, and
now.
it's really Hashem wanted it.
in some way.
Once
The
it
Eibishter
happens,
created
they
it,
have
right?
before it happens.
But the only reason they could do it is because they didn't have a Yetzer Hara. But if we would say, I'm going to eat the chaza because I think that's what the Eibishter wants. No, it's not because you think you're eating the chaza because of your Yetzer Hara.
With knowing that Hashem
But
wanted
once
it.
you
Our
ate
faith
it
is
already,
not. It's
but once
what
you
we
ate
want,
it already,
not
you know
Hashem.
it was. But once it happened, you're allowed to say it was bashet. But before it happens, you have to
It's
try
not
it.
to do tshuva.
Yeah. So that's why it's called chet. Now the question is, if the Eibishter wanted them to eat, why did he say don't eat?
I had a different.
If he says I don't want you to eat, and he's lying.
Because if he wouldn't say that they wouldn't be able to go step down, they would have to
He
stay
didn't say
there.
outright don't eat, he said before. He said, if you eat, you'll die.
That's the second part,
Oh.
not if.
Eat from that tree.
So what does it say
Well,
again?
when
Can you
God
read
is-
it? What are the exact words?
Eitz hadas teva ra loy seichlu mimena.
Because if he wouldn't say that,
Again,
then they
eight
wouldn't do a
sadas.
chait. Then they wouldn't have to go down. They would stay in Gan Eden.
But you can't lie.
What's the
If
law?
you want, you can't say you don't want. I heard because plant.
So it's a mixed message.
He wanted him to eat from Eitz HaChaim
So why
first.
did he tell it?
No.
Okay, so here's the really important thing. The Eibishter said, "Don't eat from the tree," because he really didn't want them to. Why should they go out of Gan Eden? Why should they die? Why should they be open in the lower world to all sorts of Avedas with Yetzer Haras, with Mises? He didn't want that. He doesn't want that. But it has to happen. So he says, I don't want you to eat from this tree, but I hope you do. It's like the king sending the army to war. He doesn't want to send them to war. But you
Why
have
does it have to happen?
That's good for us.
Well, I want to hear what he says.
For the completion of it.
you could say it's good for us. It's not a complete answer. Because first of all, I don't see how it's good for us. It's pretty miserable. You know, the Eibishter did this as a teiva to you. Where's the teiva?
No, because the whole creation needed to become
Oh, so who needed?
actually.
Yeah, rather. Can't be that we needed it. Because we need this like a hole in the head.
What do you mean? What do you mean they usually?
So, but why? Why does it have to happen this way? Why wasn't it good enough? The Gan Eden, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, for whatever reason,
we don't know the reason.
the Eibishter wants the lowest world to become the highest world. And for that, for him, it's worth putting up with things that he does not like. He doesn't like pain. He doesn't like to see suffering. He doesn't like the Yetzer Hara. He doesn't like to hide.
And the goal is for the lowest world to become like the upper world.
The higher.
And so that will be, and the way we are now, that will become.
Yeah.
This is the life we're living now. We don't know half of what we're doing here.
So listen to Chava's wisdom. You have to understand this. It took us 5,000 years to catch up. She's 5,000 years ahead of us.
You know what?
We shouldn't have eaten that.
She already knew.
But now, add one more detail. What really was the difference between eating or not eating? They'll die, they won't die. They didn't care. The question was, what's going to be with the kinder? Adam and Chava were tzaddikim in Gan Eden, out of Gan Eden. It didn't affect them at all. But the children, if they're outside of Gan Eden, it's a difference, right? What is the difference? If they stay in Gan Eden, they're going to live forever, and the children will be tzaddikim. If they leave Gan Eden, the children probably won't be tzaddikim. They're going to have to do tshuva. That was the discussion between Adam and Chava. Once they understood that this is a choice, other don't eat from it, other eat from it. So the question was, which is better for the children? So Adam said, what's the question? Let's not eat from it, and the children will be tzaddikim. What could be better? So Chava said, about tshuva is better. I want my children to be Baalei Tshuva. No. Because about tshuva is higher than it's right?
Because you can't
So
actually acquire something that you
Baalei Tshuva
You don't
are
really
gonna
know
bring
what you
Mashiach.
have?
So, when Adam was convinced that about tshuva is higher than a tzaddik, he agreed to eat. So now when the Eibishter comes to him and says, how did you know? He's asking, how did you know that about tshuva is greater than a tzaddik? There's never been about tshuva.
Wow.
Actually, the Gemara says that they were Baalei Tshuva.
They were also Baalei Tshuva? Huh?
They ate from the Eitz Hadas, they did tshuva,
Oh, so
and then it was
they-
Shabbos. In other words,
Baalei Tshuva.
by the end of the 6,000 years, the 6 days, Eden will do tshuva, and then Mashiach will come, it'll be Shabbos. So the last thing that happens is tshuva. But Adam's innocence, how did I know that about tshuva is higher than a tzaddik? I didn't know. She knew. Why did she know? Weil sie is the mama.
just going to say that. The mother will make sure.
There's a lot of information out
If you tell me
there.
where my tuition
so
is
bad.
stacked, I don't have it. That's what it needs
You
to be.
sure do.
Thanks for the whatever, but you know, when you feel like you're in moments and you don't know what.
So let's see, what did we just learn?
That she's smarter.
That Chava was very smart. Okay. The main thing is, tzaddikim don't sin. You can't mix a kid up and make him crazy. They were big tzaddikim, but a bissel gesündigt. What did you just say?
I don't know.
I mean, David was a big tzaddik. A little adultery, nicht gefällt.
There's no question on that. It's not
There's
such a
two
big
different
question,
types of
that question,
tzaddikim.
because we learn it
Huh?
so little, but we learn it. And we're stuck.
There are some
It's a
tzaddikim.
share in a sum.
There are some tzaddikim that I will show you. He's a tzaddik in his spare time.
No, some people are covered pure.
But you know, it's very hard to put them
And
in
some
the middle.
tzaddikim sin and do tshuva and they go up.
Then they're Baalei Tshuva, they're not
on a higher
tzaddikim.
level, that's why it's considered as a navaida for them, that's what it
That's
is.
also correct.
No.
Why?
Ish is ish. Is only an Aveda for him.
So how do you understand it?
So the first klal, a tzaddik is not able to sin. If he's able, he's not a tzaddik. He's just a Yireh Shamayim. And we're careless. Any guy who has a little Yireh Shamayim is not tzaddik.
He's a binary. That's according
Maybe.
to Tanya, no? Maybe even, maybe it's
I don't know. We don't know what he is. He knows he's the Elchi that tries to do what Hashem wants from him.
Yeah, that's not a tzaddik.
We don't know who's
A tzaddik is a special neshama that Hashem gave that cannot do sin. Yeah, that came
A
down.
tzaddik is getlich. How can he sin? So be careful when you use the word tzaddik. Don't tell your kid every time he makes a bracha on a cookie that he's not tzaddik. That's number one. Number two, what do you think the Eibishter is sitting in heaven, couldn't care less what's going on, unless you do an Aveda, then he comes to punish you. Das ist ein Eibishter. You have to appreciate the investment that the Eibishter made in this world. What it cost him. That's why Mesiras Nefesh makes a little sense. Was meist der beim Eibishten creating this world and fixing this world comes easy? He doesn't have Mesiras Nefesh. So,
It's easy for him,
why is it easy?
because for him nothing's impossible, everything's possible.
Impossible.
But that also means,
Everything is equal.
no,
For
obviously,
him to create this or that is equal.
obviously not.
Why obviously not?
Because he's doing things that go against his will. So if you think that suffering in this world hurts you, stell zich vor how it hurts him.
I always wonder, like, why does Hashem make all these people to go off the derech? It is also Hashem lets it happen. Why?
Good question.
Why does He want this?
He doesn't want it.
But if it happens, if He wants it,
No,
He
not
doesn't want it, but
necessarily.
it needs to
Ah, you see?
be. That needs to be.
He is sacrificing many things in order to get to the tachlis. So you can't sacrifice a little bit for the... No? So our sacrifice starts to make sense. It's not stam. He's sitting there having a good time and he wants you to make all the sacrifices.
He's crying, he's in pain, much more than me.
But he's so easy, you could just fix it.
Obviously
It's not true, because then he won't get to the
Why
not? Not the
tachlis. Then
tachlis.
it's not, yeah.
He could, because why?
Could he get to the tachlis
So let me-
without all this pain?
So let me tell you. We read in the Marze on Yom Kippur, the Asor Haruge Malchus. Yeah? So Rabbi Akiva, for example, is being tortured and killed by the Romans. And the Malach comes crying to the Eibishter. What does the Eibishter say?
If you're not going to be quiet, I'm going to make the whole world back because
Yeah.
Why does he say that? Because
Huh?
then he's gonna have to show us and prove us the reason why he needed to do it, why this had that.
What?
Nothing, maybe about.
So what does it mean? Be quiet or I'll
It sounds like be quiet, I'll destroy the world. That's what it's.
So
That's
that's
what it
getting in the
sounds
way
like.
of
But
letting
really,
why
it's
does
in order
God
for me to
destroy
show
the
you
world?
what
That's
I'll
all.
undo the whole
whole
world you want,
world.
I'll have to destroy it and start over again and show you.
I have to undo the whole world.
something like that. Something like that. The Eibishter says to the Malach, "You're crying. Eden are suffering, and you're crying. They're not your children. You didn't create them. They're my children. They're my creation. You're telling me that it hurts? It hurts me infinitely more than you. It's not a malach." So the malach says, so if it hurts you, stop it. So Abish says, well, you mean turn it back into... No. If you stop the pain, then it's not this world anymore.
So why does Hashem want the world?
Yes, so
Because
why,
of the
for
tachlis.
example,
So what is that?
I'm
Why?
thinking of like,
Why? No, but if Hashem is a kol yachol, he should be able to, without all this, go from Tayuvay to tachlis.
Right, he should, right? It's a good question.
Yeah, he should be able to.
He should be able to. And if he doesn't,
He's so good.
You want something.
that proves how important this thing is. He could have taken it
Hashem
easy.
can really make that even that you don't need
we
it.
saw
He
the
can make it
Holocaust,
that you
like,
don't
certain-
need it. You can make
So
it.
one
You don't
second.
need
Yes,
it.
you
You
won't
can
have
still make it
that.
happen without needing it. Whatever. You understand what I'm trying
One
to say?
second.
Like,
First
you can
of
do
all,
everything. So it
First
doesn't-
of all, this is the lowest world. So you can't ask, why is there pain? I just told you this is the lowest world.
I'm not asking that. I'm saying.
No,
that
one
Hashem
second.
wants it.
So to say, why do you have to have pain for? What does it mean to be the lowest world? The lowest world means you die, you have pain, the evil succeeds. Rishayim gevrim bay. It's an alma de shikra. It's full of lies and fake news. That's called a low world. Say, well, take out the pain. What kind of world is it going to be?
So he'll take us to the upper world.
So that's
We're
what
not
Hashem
ready.
wants.
So-
That we won't need this.
So you're canceling the whole plan. So the whole plan is that the low world will become good. So then,
Elevate this world, and if we're not
so
here,
why can't Abraham make it whole?
That's right. He can
If he
make
makes it, then it's the higher world. It's not a lower world getting fixed.
Won't be here anymore.
I'm not talking.
If you make this good, it won't be here.
It's very much like you want your child to become a mensch. So make him into a mensch. Now, if I make him into a mensch, it's not him becoming a mensch. Of course, if I could force him and mold him and turn him, but then it's not him. Ik wil toch dat he should be a mensch. That's why you can't micromanage and control everything he does. Because then he'll never be a mensch, even if he would listen to you, which he's not going to. But even if he did, he's not a mensch. As soon as you go away and not looking, it'll all fall apart. So you say, why can't Abel just make us holy? So, if he makes us holy, then it's a holier world. It's not a low world. So it has to come from us.
Hashem could speed it up.
He can't speed it up if it has to come from us.
Let's go to
You can do everything.
So Hindi, he can do something that is not good, and it's not gonna be good for us. He can do something that's not perfect, and it will not be perfect if he speeds it up. If we don't do it, it will not be
If
perfect.
he speeds it
He
up,
can make it, and if Hashem wants, he can make it
I'm on the same
perfect.
page as her.
He can make it perfect
That
this
we
way.
shouldn't have to
That should
have
be
this
quicker.
world. In other words,
He knows
if he's
how to
a
make
Rafa,
it
he could go
perfect.
from
It should
Toilet
be.
Bayou to the
We should have that
perfect.
feeling that it's
now listen, the only way a low world becomes better
We
is
know, but
if
why
the
does Hashem
low...
need the low world to become better.
That's a different question.
So that's our question. Why does Hashem?
So you're saying make a different plan.
No, I'm
But-
saying that Hashem can bypass things.
Originally, I
Speed
learned
it up.
something
Of
that
course,
really
but then
does-
it's not us.
Perfection, and it's not the perfection that
And
he
you won't
wants.
have this time.
Then we're not the ones...
It's called Alan.
It was this overrecorded because there's so much information today.
So again, if you're thinking about your children, you really want them to be good. So speed it up. You can't speed them up. They have to go according to their speed. Like Yankov said to Esav, you go ahead. I have to go slow because the sheep, you can't push them. You have to go slow. So that's like the Eibishter saying, I can't bring Mashiach yet. The sheep are not ready. Esav said, let's make Mashiach. Make Mashiach. The sheep have to go at their pace. You can't. So, if we understand what the Eibishter is doing, not why. I don't know if we'll ever understand why.
No, I
But
once
what
read
is he
from Sagadol said, like, when asking for the answer, something like whatever, the reason why not to ask why is because by the time you get the answer, there's no more questions. Like, in other words, when do we know? When it's not. Yeah.
But it's not necessary. It's not like we're missing important information. It doesn't matter why he wants it. Like with a husband. It doesn't matter why he wants it. Find out what he wants and help him get there. Why does he want it? What are you, his psychiatrist? What makes the Eibishter want the low world? What's the difference? Why? We just need to know why, how, and what. If we know what he wants and we know how to do it, we don't need to know why he wants it.
Okay, bottom line, what does he want?
The lowest world
No, what do you want from me? Get out of the world.
that
Let the world happen.
that you should make your piece of the world godly.
And how do you do that? By doing it?
Connected to
Make your little circle, your little world, comfortable for
I'm
him.
trying to make my world very godly, and there's so many people around me that are not letting it be godly.
Not true? No.
That's the challenge.
Hashem sent those people too. He wants
That's the
them.
challenge.
Huh?
That's the challenge.
That's what Hashem put those people down.
So listen to what Chava was actually thinking. Knowing what this world is, with all the ugliness, with all the narishkeit, with all the... She was not afraid to send her children into this world. Did she know it would take 5,778 years?
No.
I should hope not.
She said she knew.
You said she knew. You said she knew till when? Yeah, didn't mention.
It doesn't say anywhere, but would 5,000 years scare her? She lived to be 1,000. So to her, 5,000 years. Before you know it, it's over. Uh-huh. So yeah, she knew it would take 5,000 years, and it didn't scare her.
That means the the bottom line, the end result, no matter how, I mean, of course it matters how we behave, but we don't have to worry, it's gonna be good.
Yes,
Bottom line, we're gonna get there.
yes. Mashiach is going to come with you or without you.
No.
So, woman,
Bottom line's
how
not
is
with
that,
me.
how is that
Huh?
with
Because
children?
without me is a problem.
Exactly.
Coming with me.
So you have
Or
She knew,
to be there.
she knew if she let it out that I'm coming with, that she will come, I'll be with. And everyone else that I need, that they should.
So I have a question for you, is that the way
But
we
that's
have-
why the Rebbe was
Is that
so-
the way we have to trust our children?
Yeah.
Like,
Only
they
with
can
reach
go out in the
Chava's
world and
level.
they'll be fine?
Oh,
Can I ask you?
And the proof is,
See, we're still fine.
the proof
No, I'm
is,
talking about like,
the proof is you don't let them go out into the world and they're not fine.
Okay, can I?
In other words, there's no guarantee.
Nicht down.
Huh?
Nicht down.
Who's Jonah?
The point is this. Whatever you want from your child, you want it to have Yiras Shamayim, you want it to be tznius, you want it to be kosher, you want it to be... Why? Where is this coming from? Why should she be holy? Why? And what kind of an objective, what kind of goal is this? You want to take a person with a big Yetzer Hara and make her holy. Are you realistic? What are you trying to do? You want your children to be tzaddikim? You're not a tzaddik. This is such a crucial question. And the same is true with tshuva. What do you mean somebody's going to become a Baal tshuva? Do me a favor. Come on. What does it mean, Baal tshuva? They don't have Yiddishkeit, they don't have Edelkeit, they don't have Yediyah, they don't have knowledge. But they're going to do tshuva. What does that mean? They put on a streimel with a bekish and that's it? Everything's good? Doesn't make any sense? So you have to know, every Jew is going to be godly because he already is. There's no way, he can't escape. Ken zindigen wiffel de willst. In the end, you have to be holy because that's what you are. So is it realistic to expect a Jew to be holy? Are we realistic? There's no choice. So the question is, will he do tshuva this year or next year? Or 2 years? But you can't get away. You are a piece of the Eibishter and canst leven wiffel de willst. You're not
but
escaped.
unfortunately, we do see how many fall.
Uh,
And then
Not
you're
back, yeah.
And then come back. They have to come back.
What, these assimilated Jews?
Hmm?
That
No,
marry,
we're not worrying about
intermarry,
assimilated
and
Jews, we're
why
talking
not?
about-
They're all coming
There's-
back.